this book would commit heinous crimes but try to justify them. The Israelites of the Bible were monsters. They systematically killed every breathing thing in Canaan. If this were modern times, this would not be seen as righteous warfare, regardless of the religion of the inhabitants were practicing. This would be called genocide. King David was known for killing men, women, and children in order not to have witnesses to the war crimes he committed. Children teasing a prophet for being bald were mauled by a bear. The plagues upon Egypt involved killing livestock and vegetation, which Egypt would need to survive, and killing the firstborn sons of every household. Yet in all cases, these heinous things are painted in a positive light. The God would create laws without explaining them. The most famous of these laws would be the Israelites not being allowed to eat pork. A simple explanation of trichinosis would have been more than sufficient. However, this law is not explained. Simply do as I say or die. Similarly with bedding your brother's wife if your brother passes away. Women must be considered unclean for weeks during their period. I doubt men even saw their wives all that often with the amount of time they were unclean from their monthly friend. The book would glorify violent liars that commit atrocities. King David was a murderer and a liar. He slept with Bathsheba and had her husband killed. This is not even including all the horrible acts he inflicted upon the Philistines. In order to get Saul's daughter, he killed 200 men and sheared their foreskin off. Abraham came in contact with a sheik that wanted to sleep with Sarah. In order to not get killed, he told the sheik that Sarah was his sister. When the sheik tried to marry Sarah, he was killed for trying to sleep with another man's wife, all because Abraham lied to him in order to save his own life. It's a good trick. You should try it. I mean, Jacob did the same exact thing. In fact, Jacob was praised for lying to his elderly father in order to get Esau's birthrights. Violent liars are held in high regard throughout the entire Bible. The book would hold out a hope that cannot be reached nor verified. The ultimate hope of the Bible, according to Jehovah's Witnesses, is that if you're one of the 144,000, you'll live in heaven. And if you're not, you'll live forever in paradise. Has any one of the 144,000 told anyone after dying that they were in heaven? Can any of this be verified whatsoever? The book would have vague, generalized predictions. When you think of a cheap psychic, you think of someone who makes broad, generalized predictions that fit everyone, right? The biggest prophecy that people keep saying is coming true is that there would be many reports of wars, reports of earthquakes, children being disobedient to parents, etc., etc., etc. These are all vague predictions because it could be made any time. There are always wars and reports of wars. Reports of earthquakes, children being disobedient to parents. There are always wars with reports of them, and every generation feels theirs has more wars. And when their children grow up, they always feel that their children are more disobedient than they were to their parents. It's because they're more aware of the world surrounding them than they were when they were children. The other prophecies that are said to be coming true are the ones in Revelation, where their wild beasts are being applied to symbols of current world powers. However, these are wild beasts that could be applied to anything. At one time, it was believed Leviathan was a steam-powered locomotive. The book would say it's always right and then have factual errors. The Bible states unequivocally that everything it says is correct in every way, yet it has all sorts of factual errors in it. In Jesus' birth account, it talks about a census of the people that was actually taken a decade before Jesus was born. It talks about light being created before the sun. It talks about Jews being enslaved in Egypt when there's no evidence for this occurring at all. The Bible gives numbers for the Israelites' armies that are larger than the entire population of the world at that time. Yet, if it's proven through archaeology and fact that the figures or events in the Bible didn't happen, people ignore actual evidence in favor of the Bible. So you can see here that in every single case, the Bible fits exactly what you would expect from an evil being who is simply looking to be worshipped. In fact, the Bible itself says the world is lying in the power of the wicked one. Yet if you look around, there's not a single theocracy that worships Satan. You stand absolutely no chance of being elected to a position of power if you simply state that you don't believe in God. Never mind if you worship Satan. It seems that Jehovah just wants to be worshipped. He doesn't care how, and it certainly seems that he has the whole world believing that he's God, and the book of the Bible is infallible. How exactly is Satan getting people to worship him and he's usurping Jehovah or Yahweh if all the people who are worshiping are thinking of Jehovah or Yahweh? How can the Bible not be written by an evil being when it contains every single aspect of a book you would expect from an evil being looking to control people? How does it work? You tell me. Do you really think Jehovah is good and Satan is bad when the Bible itself is evidence otherwise?
Guess I'm stuck in a dream, surrounded by colored leaves on the ground. As I stare at the tree,